What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Alison Moyet. And we're back for a bonus tune from the expanded folder for the album ALF 1984 that I've been given access to. Shout out to Seb. And we're going to listen to a remix of Love Resurrection, which is the first track on the album. And it's called the Love Injection Mix, which, you know, there's a line about to dull the pain, if I could just get an injection, or I forget the exact phrasing, but it's something to that effect, that she needs an injection of love to dull the pain in her heart. So, yeah, I feel like that's a clever usage. Now, again, there's been a couple times where I thought there was something like that happening. I remember there was a Tears for Fears remix of Mad World called the Afterlife Mix, and it seemed like conceptually it was such a perfect word to use in relation to remixing that track, but it was actually the remix artist is Afterlife. So ultimately this could be, I suppose, the same thing, but it feels like it's a reference to the line in the song. So correct me if I'm wrong, and either way, do let me know if you're aware of who the remix artist is here. In any case, yeah, I enjoy the original. It's got a cool little synth riff. It has generally the feel of this album, which is to say it's less synth heavy and, it's not Yazoo, but it is indicative of the blending of different flavors. There's some synth on the album. There's a bit of that, I don't know, pop, pop jazz kind of feel. So ultimately it's a tune that I think sets the stage for the record very well, but it's interesting to think of it, it probably will have a more dance floor feel in the sense that I imagine this type of remix is going to be an extended remix or a dance-oriented remix, even if not by name. So maybe I'll be wrong. Let's find out. This is Alison Moyet, Love Resurrection, the Love Injected. Oh, sorry, it's not Injection. It's Love Injected remix, and it's from the expanded folder for the 1984 album ALF. This voices thing is crazy. It really does feel like you're at a show or at a party. It's like the din of people talking their own little lives in the context of live music. Making us wait for her voice, it's not a bad choice. Because then when it finally arrived, what she said. There it is. sort of pop jazzy feel right there. Layered Allison voices. It's an aural force. Just as there was a little edge in that resurrection there, the low end has a bit of bite to it right now. Those little vocalization moments, she commands your attention. The growl of the bass. That melody with the growling, rumbling bass is a really nice combo. That extension the slow fade, if that's even what's happening, it feels like it's fading. This might be the most gradual fade I've ever heard. Yeah, I enjoyed that. It's definitely a more dance-oriented feel, although in some respects it was, you know, essentially the same ingredients, just maybe mixed up a little bit. I will say, though, the intro and a little bit of the outro, that felt more different, those voices and the, the din, the cacophony of, being lost a little bit, and then it sort of rolled into more of the flavor of the original tune. But it's interesting though, because I was thinking, despite the opening being perhaps a little, not disconnected, but like segmented from the rest of the remix, if you will, or at least that was the experience of it, I would say it was a more purposeful remix than perhaps some this early in the 80s. I feel like, remix culture and the nature of 12-inch and, extended dance remixes, I feel by like the later 80s, they began to get a bit more streamlined, and, you have your, add some percussive layers, you add whatever flavor you're looking, but then you have your instrumental section. It became a bit, not like formulaic, because now maybe it sounds like I'm describing it in a bad way, but I mean like, I feel like remix artists and remix releases became a little more purposeful, whereas I've heard some from like the earlier 80s where they're doing a lot of really interesting things, but they're kind of all over the place. They're all, doing like one section with a kind of a Latin feel, maybe the next section it's got a lot of drums, and then it goes into like a different feel, and it's kind of like they were experimenting with the, not only technology, but with the nature of what a dance remix would be. And again, as the 80s went on, it feels like, given some of the remixes that I've heard from all these different groups now that I've been deep diving on, that by the mid and especially late 80s, it felt like they found more of the niche, more of the groove for that type of remix. So even though this is 84, it feels a bit later than that, because it felt like very purposeful. It, it had its characteristic intro. It did a lot of what the original track does, maybe just, reordered or shaken up a little bit. And they had a characteristic outro, but it, it wasn't meandering all over and trying like a number of different things. So I enjoyed the way that remix sounded, perhaps, to my brain, and maybe I'm just, kind of tying some things together that maybe don't actually connect. But yeah, it felt a little more directed and purposeful than some of the early 80s dance remixes I've heard. If you could see this cat, you would not believe it. I mean, she's basically like feline, like jelly at this point. But I do apologize, Luca. I am going to have to move you, whether you are in liquid form or not. In any case, let me know what you think of this one. I will see you next time. Peace.